What you are about to see is some of the most insane excuse-making and coping perhaps in the history of televised news, as Kevin O'Leary goes on CNN to make a pretty undeniably true argument, which is that Kamala Harris was not democratically elected as the party nominee. Again, yeah, that's true. I don't even see how you could argue against that, whatever you feel about it. But according to CNN, not only is that not real, right? It was perfectly okay that not a single person voted for her, but apparently the Democrats have no need to even do this. Screw you, you silly American people. Why should you actually have a say in our democracy that we claim is so important? We'll show you that here today. It is hilarious. So I'm Vince for Resist the Mainstream. If you enjoy our content, please do us a big favor by hitting that subscribe button down below. And why should you subscribe? Because doing so goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you these videos. We are about a week away from the election. It has never been a better time to hit that red button to support the work and fight back against the censorship. And with that said, let's get into this.
I would like to introduce the concept of the panel tonight. It's going to be a short dissertation, but I want you to think about this because I watched like you did yesterday and something hit me pretty hard. Only 90 days ago, Pelosi went to Biden and said, you need to step aside, and convinced him to do so. He made the decision, and he did actually ask her, and we've now learned this, is she the right person to drive this home? He questioned that. He could have said, we need to run a process in order for me to make this move. But they decided not to. I don't know who they is. Was it Obama? Was it Pelosi? I don't care who it was. In stock picking, just listen to this analogy, and you may agree, you may not. 88% of managers, because this is the world I live in, cannot beat the S&P year in, year out. So you give them $1,000, the S&P beats them. They can't pick stocks. This is the second time the Democratic Party has circumvented democracy and chose.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Hillary Clinton was chosen, and she had Bruce Springsteen too. And what happened to her? And now
It's totally true, by the way. Again, whatever you think about this, you could think Kamala Harris is amazing. Yes, it was necessary to switch out Joe Biden. Those are all fair stances, I guess, to hold. But to sit there and claim it is not true that the Democrat Party circumvented a democratic process to choose their own candidate because the party oligarchs decided that they wanted someone else, how can you possibly argue against that? Well, let's hear what they have to say. Let's see.
Chosen.
Kevin, Hillary Clinton won a primary, okay? She won a primary. You may not like
Nobody could compete with her, even Bernie Sanders.
She won a primary.
Okay.
First of all, that's the first thing.
So did Kamala Harris win a primary?
Listen, we've talked about this.
Boom. Yeah, I think that's the greater point. Now, there's a lot of things to be said about the way the 2016 Democratic primary was handled. I think there were a lot of issues there. The 2024 one as well. Let's not forget that they changed the entire party rules to screw over RFK to make sure he basically was not allowed a platform. They even changed the election schedule to ensure that Joe Biden could not face any challenges as the nominee. But okay, you want to say that's all fine? Kamala Harris didn't win a single vote. How can you even argue against that? Hear what Abby Phillips has to say. It's really dumb, actually. Let's take a listen.
This before.
What's wrong about talking about it tonight after what you just saw?
Do you think that's really what matters to voters?
Right now.
How many Democrats wish?
Your whole shtick has
Hang on
been,
a second.
let's talk about what matters to voters. Do you really think voters care about the internecine primary process?
If you're a Democrat, you sure as hell care today.
I know that you are from Canada, but the primary process.
That's why I'm perfect for this. I have no skin in the game other than to get a great president.
It's not in the Constitution. The political parties can choose however they want to choose their nominee.
Right.
And as long as they meet the legal deadlines in the states where they are on the ballot, they can do it however they want.
But I just want to be transparent. Yes, I was born in Canada, but
December 2023 to just handpick somebody.
Just to be transparent, I was born in Canada.
It's a Democratic Party process, not a Democratic.
No, but my kids were born and raised in Boston. All my investments in the United States. I want the president, whoever it is, to be a winner.
You're describing something as undemocratic that has absolutely nothing to do with the democratic
and this
process.
is why
By definition, yes, democratically electing someone and then having the leadership of your party rebel against that choice and choose someone else. Yes, Abby Phillips, by definition, that is undemocratic. Now, we'll get into her central argument in a second, but I also want to point out there are a lot more existing questions about what the Democrat Party did and how legal it was necessarily than you may think. Like, I'm not saying 100% what they did was completely illegal, because obviously it happened, and is anyone going to be able to overturn it now? But I should point out there are valid questions in that regard.
Let me share this. This very quickly is just a note I want to share. I'm not going to play the soundbite, but Kamala Harris was talking about how she ended up in this position as the de facto nominee for the Democratic Party. And I'm just curious, as someone who studies this from an election law perspective, isn't this also disenfranchising Democrat Party voters? Because you basically said, you don't need to be voted on. We're just going to place you in there because the guy you worked with is stepping down.
Never before in modern history has all the primaries taken place.
Yeah.
In this case, 14 million votes. They just disappear. And to me, there are significant legal issues related to that, civil rights issues.
Absolutely.
And I would think the states and the federal government would have an interest in figuring out how the coup happened.
Yeah, how the coup happened. Tom Fitton, always a pleasure, my friend.
Link, would you care to gander a guess at what they were saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe was like, look, you and Pelosi shanked me, led a coup against me for this drunk wine mom, Kamala, who's even worse than I was. You should have just kept me in. Yeah. I think Biden's been trying to undermine Kamala Harris. Yeah. I mean, going out and holding his first press briefing in, 1,300 days? Yeah. I think Biden would feel a little bit vindicated if Kamala lost. He would like it just a little bit.
100%. Yeah, because if you talk him off, Obama talks him off the ticket twice. He did it in 2016 and does it again. And does it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Look, So I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I'm going to throw that out there. But the core of what Abby is saying, I understand, okay? Technically, yes, the parties do not have to do a primary process that is actually democratic in most cases, although there are some questions. But okay, we get what she is saying. Oh, that's not in the Constitution. You don't technically have to do that. Yes, that is true. However, how does that refute what Kevin O'Leary is saying, that yes, by definition, they still subverted a democratic process to choose their nominee? Because CNN has spent so much time talking about democratic norms. I don't know if you guys remember, every time you tuned in to CNN during the Trump presidency, what did they say? Well, this new thing he's doing, it's not technically illegal, but it's against democratic norms. It damages the health of our democracy. It's like, okay, so what is this by definition? What is subverting the entire primary process that the American electorate voted for in order to just have the party elites choose your own person? Yeah, by definition, it is doing away with the democratic norms, okay? Now, if you want to say, oh, but you don't have to do that per the Constitution, I mean, I guess, but you know what you also don't have to do per the Constitution? Actually concede an election. And yet I've heard so much about how Trump didn't concede. How did he deny? Well, by the Constitution, you're allowed to deny election results, right? You're allowed to, not concede to the other candidate. So how are you going to say Trump is a threat to democracy then? What did he do? What did he do that was actually against the Constitution? If that's all that really matters. And by the way, last thing I'll say here is the actual point, if you listen, that Kevin O'Leary was trying to make was not that the Democrats are legally mandated to do a primary process. He was pointing out how when you bypass the American people and just choose whoever you want as the candidate, then that kind of explains at the moment why Democrats in Kamala Harris have a weak candidate, right? Because they could have actually done a brokered or contested convention where the nominee still would have had to earn it from the delegates, at least, if it was not chosen by the people themselves, but they didn't want to do that because they wanted the DNC to be a political theater, right? They wanted to be all about, oh, Kamala Harris is amazing. She's so great. Yay. We can have a whole week talking about her and introducing the people to her for the optics of it. But yes, I understand that. But at the same time, because you bypass that process, because Kamala did nothing to actually earn the nomination, don't be surprised, as Kevin points out, you may have not put the right person or the most qualified person there for the job. I don't know, just saying. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. What do you think of this ridiculous quote by Abby Phillips? And until next time, I've been Vince with Resist the Mainstream. Hope you enjoyed, and peace.